Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope the videos are helping your designing process. If they are, please smash that subscribe button, tap on that like bell or notification bell. Leave me a like, comment, share the content. If you like to buy me a cup of coffee, smash that super thanks button below the video there. Check out the links below for some jewelry equipment. There's a tumbler in there. It's smaller for small size shops. That's really pretty cool. Let's get going. Before I forget, mastering Matrix Gold, a smooth transition, right? We had our first show on February 24th, I believe. I want to thank everybody, whoever tuned in. Thank you so much. I think it was a pretty good session for the most part. This next session will be held on Tuesday, February 13th at 11 o'clock Central Time, USA. These next sessions will be only for Matrix Gold members only. So if you don't have a membership and you'd like to get one, check out Jim Vision and go to their academy. Check out their academy that they have. There's a lot of cool videos on there. The one I kept mentioning before on the academy was the dynamic commands, and they go in depth, and it's great. And they also have a lot of rendering, which we're going to be doing today. So a link is posted below. If you have a membership, please go ahead and register. This time we will actually have somebody there specifically to answer questions in the chat. So be very active. Go ahead and throw those questions out there, and let's let's get more knowledge to more people. So please, love to see you on the February 13th at 2 o'clock or 11 o'clock, sorry, 11 o'clock Central Time, USA. So please tune in. Let's get going on this. I had an individual on our Facebook group about rendering, right? And I kind of tried to put together Ring real quick, something similar to his. And when I say real quick, I mean real quick, so please don't judge. Rendering is probably the longest learning curve in Matrix Gold since they switched from V-Ray to Cycles, right? V-Ray, in case you're unaware, was just a mapping. So basically, it would take an item and just lay a map over the stone. Nothing, there's no way to really, well, you could generate some extra stuff with it by doing certain things, but it wasn't nearly as powerful as Cycles. And when I say Cycles is powerful, I mean it's powerful. There's a lot you can do with it. It's been getting a bad rep. I don't think it really deserves it. It's just a learning curve. So if you go to another program to try and learn out all the design, you're still going to have to take the time to learn it, right? So you might as well use what you have available with Cycles, and it's really, to me, it puts out great renders. It's just the learning curve is a little bit. So we're going to start a new series for rendering. This will be the first one. Basically, this one's just to help this individual out, Mr. Anonymous. No problem, no worries. But to help him get these kind of gems and everything in order to make a decent render, right? And I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this first one, but we will dive into all. And when I say it's powerful, it is powerful. You just have to really know all the options. And I went ahead and loaded up my Rhino toolbar up here, which we'll use a little bit as well. If you don't know how to do that, all you have to do is type in options down here at the bottom, OPTIONS, and then go to your toolbars. Click, make sure you're on your defaults, and you can actually just scroll down till you see the 16 bar. Go ahead and click that, and you can also activate your sub D tools here as well, in case you didn't know how to get to them, and we'll just snap them over there. We won't be using those today, and actually we're had some requests for some sub D, Clay U, and Rhino, and we're going to go into that too. As I've just been really swamped here lately. But I do want to continue the YouTube, and I definitely want to put as much focus and attention on the Mastering Matrix Gold series. So please, again, tap on that. Go ahead and subscribe or register at the link below. So let's look at the rendering here, right? As I said, V-Ray is a mapping. Matrix Gold or Cycles is more of a natural lighting, right? So basically, you're going to put lights out there. It has lights already in it that are actually going to be more realistic. It's actually going to go into the diamond, bounce around inside the diamond, and come straight back out the top like diamonds do, right? It's just how do you set it up to get the the best out of it? And when you add colored stones, what do you have to do to get the best out of it, right? So this video is just going to be very quickly on just how to get a decent render, and then like I said, we'll go into dig in deeper to find out all the other things that you have. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, because it's not a mapping, because it is a more natural lighting, right, is we need to remove that metal from the stones, because that's going to throw a darkness onto our item. So we need to get rid of that metal, any metal touching our gemstones. We don't want any metal touching our gemstones. That's a key point, right? So I already loaded up the cutters. I didn't think you needed to see that. But I loaded them up, and at the default, if we go into wireframe, you could pretty much see that they're already set up so that they're going around the stone, and everything should be cut. But sometimes, like this particular model here, you will have to do a little bit more manipulation on it. So let's go ahead and select these, and I dragged them all the way up there so that they're not going to be touching any of my prongs here or anything like that, right? These over here I think are fine, but there is one area right here. If I was to do the cut, it would be cutting that prong out, right? So we want to do a little adjustment here on this one. We'll go ahead and do edit, and then from the top here we'll just kind of drag it, well, if I can get it, we'll go ahead and drag it down so that it's right on the top of our stone. And we don't want anything touching our stones, so we're going to have to make that cut right there, right? And we'll go ahead and hit enter there. So now those are down low enough, they shouldn't affect anything that we, any cutting out our prong or anything like that. I would save it before you do any cuts. Maybe talk to your craftsman to make sure. But most craftsmen, I think, are pretty, they really don't like the pre-cut stuff. They would much rather cut their own seats. Because everybody has a little bit different technique of how they like to cut it, how deep they like to cut it, whether they like the stone to just fall in or whether they like the stone to snap in, and how much they have to bend the prong. There's a lot of little small things in there that craftsmen like more control over. So talk to your craftsman, but I would not make the cuts when I do the printing, but that's totally up to you again. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward. Let's go to our solids. Let's go ahead and get this bullion done. So I select my first surface will be these here. All these prongs, or all those there, plus this one, all these prongs here. Now I have these mesh, so definitely cannot cut a mesh, right? So what we need to do is, where'd it go? Let's go back. Oh, let's get rid of that. Let's go in here and let's do a little edit, because I do have the mesh. So I'm going to go to edit, and I'm just going to prongs mesh. I'm going to turn that off and then hit enter, right? So now I should be able to cut them, right? So let's go in and do that bullion. Let's grab these, all these prongs, and these prongs, and this center head here, right? And then we'll just go ahead and hit enter, and then we'll just grab all of our cutters, and then go ahead and hit enter, and it should just go ahead and cut everything out for us where we want it. And then we'll just hit enter again. And now when I look at my stones, if you go in here and take a look, you can see that there is no metal touching my stone, which is what we want, right? On any of them. And it cut this little piece out here for us too, so it's not touching either. So we're all set up now. Now we can move on. Let's go ahead and take this shank now and go ahead and change it to green too, since everything else is. And we should be good to go. I think I have a red curve out there. I'm going to go ahead and change to gray, and I'm going to grab all my yellow and go ahead and change it to gray and turn it on. It's not something you really have to do. You can render with those lines. It will not come into your render unless you want it to. You set it up that way. Okay, so we have this out here, and let's go ahead and start applying materials and stuff. So let's go ahead and open up a render, and it comes up like this, right? So we're going to go straight to our documents and make sure our little box there, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete all this stuff so we can start from scratch. You don't have to do this, but sometimes it's not a bad idea, but it's really not something you have to do. Okay, so we're going to start from scratch. We're going to go back to materials. And for our ring, we're going, I think he had yellow gold. So I'll go to my metals here and we'll go to 14 karat yellow and we will select that. And now I'm going to go to all 4 viewports. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger and kind of get that in line and get everything kind of lined up to where I can work with it as we move forward. All right, so we have this. Now you can lay it down or spin it around or add more rings or other things or whatever, but we're just going to focus on the rendering to get a little starter on it, right? I'm going to start this series off, a new render series, and this is the first one, basically just to help him out, this individual, Mr. Anonymous. So we have one material applied, and we can see it right here. And if I go to my perspective and then right click on it, I can go to ray trace, so I can kind of see a little preview of what it's going to look like. And right now it's set at 1,000 passes. This is just a preview, so I really don't need it at 1,000. I'm going to type it down to about 25 and then hit enter. So now it'll go to 25 passes and just kind of stop and save my computer, right? So we have that. Let's go ahead and grab the gemstones and we'll go back to materials. And he had some kind of red stone. I'm not sure exactly what it was. He or she, I should say. We'll go to Madagascar Ruby and we'll scroll up here to apply those materials as well. And as you can see, I think this is what kind of you were getting in your render if it kind of looks pretty close the same. What you do when you go to the stones and you want to do a render, it's best to go to the documents, go ahead and click on your colored stone there, and go ahead and preview render so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. And right now they're pretty dark, right? But there's a lot of things in here we can go ahead and start to manipulate. We can go ahead and turn up the illuminance to make those stones a little bit lighter and brighter, right? You know, however much you want. And then we can go ahead and give it maybe a little bit more saturation. So that's a start. You can play around with these to adjust different things, your saturation, your luminance, right? So let's keep on going. Let's go ahead and activate MatrixGold. Classic is probably the best one. And as you can see, we're starting to get something that's pretty decent, right? We can go back to our documents, go ahead and click on our gold, click on this little color bar here, and we can actually adjust that metal too so that it changes the color around. To whatever you think's best, and we have no lighting in there yet, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, our stones are already looking much better. So let's go up to our render here, and let's go to our lighting tab, and you can get spotlights. You can get all different kinds of lights, right? We'll go ahead and recall that command, and I'll just put it in the center here, kind of bump it out like that, kind of go over here somewhere like this, and I should have probably used my tool there to help adjust that, but that's no big deal. You can adjust it, move it around. Let's go ahead and we'll just mirror this over to our other side. And as you can see, we're already getting a lot more light. You can adjust it to the other side. And then again, we're going to put one, not mirror, we're going to go back to our lighting. We're going to grab another spotlight, and there's all different kinds of lights in there you can use. And we're going to actually drag this one straight down, and I'm going to grab that one and bump it down even more. Something like that. So now we have all kinds of lighting out there, right? which is now it's really starting to change the look of everything around, right? And it's only going 25 passes, right? So you can go to your environment and start doing it here, or messing around with things over there, which we'll go into much more in depth. But for this one here, just for quickness, we're going to just go to our Rhino options, and actually we're going to go back. We can select on a light, and it automatically will change to that light. Now we can adjust our shadow intensity by just dropping it down. Maybe we don't want that much shadow on that particular light there. And let's see, we have another one over here on this side. So, cramp. I got a cramp in my leg. Ouch. Bad timing. We can adjust that, so to get rid of those shadows. Maybe we don't want that much shadows there, and we can even do it to here too. Or you can change the intensity of the light, right, to make it brighter, or whatever. And you can also hardness of the spotlight. If you wanted just a real sharp spotlight going around it, you could actually do that in there as well. And like I said, we'll go more into depth. It's just trying to get this one to where he can kind of, or he or she can go in there and start to get decent renderings, right? So we got that. You can also go in here to your item and go to material, and there's all kind of things in here that we can do, which we'll talk about in a later date. We can go to our lighting, adjust our strengths, turn them off or on to get different types of looks, right? So like I said, we're going to dive into all this at a later date. Let's see, what else do I want to do? Let's go ahead and let's play around with this just a little bit more here real quick. Oh, yes. Okay. And you can also shine, right? Maybe you don't want it that shiny. You want to dull it down just a smidge or something like that, and not so shiny. You can do that as well in here. And you can change from polish to all the kinds of things, which we'll talk about later. But this will give you a decent, starting point, right? But Matrix class is probably your best one to get going, to get used to it, and then you can build on from there. But there's tons of different things we can do, which, like I said, we'll talk about later. Let's go ahead and just do a render here real quick. And what do I have it set at? 263 passes. Actually, that's way too many. I don't want to do that many. I would if I was going to be doing a large amount. I mean, for something for a site. Let's just take it down to around 160 or something, and make sure, of course, that whatever viewport you want rendered is active, and then hit render. And then this one should maybe be a little bit faster for us. And we can also turn on NVIDIA denoiser. You can go type in command line package manager and find your NVIDIA or Intel, or there's some other ones in there that you can download, right? And as you can see, we have a lot more going on in it. It's really not a bad render, just for what little we did to it. And there's still a ton more we could do to bring it out even more. And I'll go and talk just real quick. We have all kinds of post effects and final passes. I'm not going to go into much depth on those right at this moment, because again, it's just about getting the render ready so that he can kind of have something that's decent. And then we'll talk more as we go forward in this series for rendering. Which will be, I'll make a separate thing on the channel for rendering, and as we post more videos for rendering, and we're going to dig into ClayU here and 3D here in the future too. So hopefully stay tuned, right? And this is taking a little bit of time. Oh, my resolution, that's why probably. I have a pretty high resolution on it. Should have probably bumped that down. But let's go back and talk about the MatrixGold smooth transition to Matrix, right? Or Matrix to MatrixGold smooth transition. Please, I really love to see you there. and please give a shout out if you do stop in. And this next series, we're going to be actually talking a lot about dynamic and parametric, how to design that way. And we're also going to talk about certain tools inside the program more in depth. And then later we're going to be going into macros and aliases and context menu and a bunch of other things. So it's going to be pretty detailed in certain areas to get you to make that transition very quickly and smoothly. Both if you're making the transition or if you're basically new to MatrixGold, I think the content would really benefit you. So please stop in and check it out. Okay, so here we have post effects, and then you can just go ahead and click here, and you can go through and check on any of these that you would like, right? Like I said, we'll talk. This is really pretty cool, believe it or not, but we'll come back to that at a later date. And then also we have final passes here where we can actually change things around even further. The final passes is actually a really pretty quick way to darken it or brighten it up, right? And then also I think if you just click on this one here, you can get the PNG, so you can transfer it straight to your file. And check that out, right in those little small areas, it goes ahead and cuts that out for you. Is that not sweet? But hopefully this will give you a little start as far as what you can do, and then just go ahead and click on save, save as, and then save it to where you want, and you should be good to go. But hopefully this gives you a little starting point. And like I said, we're going to go in and talk about a bunch more. And there's so many cool things that you can do with cycles. I hope this helps. And if it does, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. And by all means, please try to attend the February 13th, Tuesday, February 13th at 11 a.m. USA time. Would absolutely love to see you there. So, good designing, and until next time.